The moment I almost gave up on Astroneer was also the moment that its genius struck me. There I was, bombing around this mysterious planet with my nobody. I felt like a DOS for assembling the required components and doing enough research to learn the schematic. Now this was my body. There were many like it, but this one was mine. A triumph that would allow me to explore farther than ever from my landing site, and not be bound by how far I could tether my oxygen line to it. Now, I could tether from my body of Badasri anywhere on this uncharted world. Then I fell into a hole, because I was not looking where I was going. That led to a deeper hole because of gravity. When all was said and done, I was stuck in a Byzantine warren, with no hope of escape, and only the barest trace of sunlight to remind me of how far I had fallen, my body upside down on some impossible geometric rock face. At this point, I was already staggeringly annoyed, because I did not realize that the marker pointing out my base disappeared beneath the horizon. So I was already quite lost when the hole claimed me. This was the final straw. I quit the game in disgust and figured I deep set it aside until enough time had passed that restarting would not feel like a great loss. But a fact nagged at me. My little Astroneer has a tool in her spacesuit that allows her to terraform. Could not I just patiently dig my way out while building a ramp? The next day, after work, I restarted the game and did just that, painstakingly at first, smoothly as soon as the sky appeared. I paved my way out. I was still lost, but the body of Badasri was, at least, on the surface. A quick check of the wiki confirmed something I suspected. The base is always at the planet's equator. Armed with that fact, I actually navigated my way back home by the stars. I returned in glory to my Lego set of a base. Astroneer excels at managing the critical balance between stress and triumph. As irritated and lost as I felt, there was always a solution waiting to be discovered. The game rewards patience in a way that is entirely of a piece with its serene pace. Unless you are running out of oxygen, you are free from urgency here. With all the never-ending discourse around challenge in games, it's worth dwelling on Astroneer's unpretentious success at balancing calmness with difficulty and reward. These sorts of sandbox adventures are, as a matter of course, self-directed. Many of them share these features, to one degree or another. But Astroneer feels special in part because of its minimalism. Comparisons to No Man's Sky are inevitable, of course, and if I wanted to be cheeky, I could say that Astroneer was a lightweight and cartoony version of Hello Games' offering. But it manages to be a good deal more than that, though its cartoony aesthetic gives it a stronger sense of identity. This is, fundamentally, a game about peaceful problem-solving. You will occasionally chance across hostile plant life or fungus, but there are no marauding aliens. Of all the things to be researched and built from your catalog, there are no guns to be found. Even the more devilish of flora does not go out of its way to hurt you. It only does so if you are tromping around carelessly. There's something relaxing and reassuring about this. A gentle vibe that pervades the whole game, and this puts the joy of exploration front and center. What lies over that next ridge, at the bottom of that canyon, is the thing that powers you through this game. As with most games of its type, Astroneer sees you fashion crude items from basic materials, which then allow you to harvest better materials to build bigger and better items, and so on. Your base slowly expands as you work your way up to building things, like a launch pad, to help you mine materials you can only get on a nearby moon. But it's the joy that comes precisely from going higher and farther that feels like the game's greatest reward. seeing so much more over the next horizon. Astroneer's focus on exploration gives it that perfect balance between those competing forces that so often tear games apart. And this minimalism aids it by reducing the number of things that can go wrong. While future patches may add new buildings and functionality, the game allows you to do a lot with a relatively small number of inputs. Mining, gathering, and terraforming are all the same function, and, while it can be irksome to manage, the oxygen tether gives you a clear sense of physical limitation that can only be overcome through more building, i.e., using soil compound to build more tether poles and extend your range. With that, you know any solution to getting lost or finding more resources must involve one of a small range of functions. Far from limiting you, this minimalism elegantly guides you through the world. But, as thrilling as it can be to discover the wreckage of a crashed spaceship, say, there's something weirdly chilling about discovering another spacesuit pack, like yours, and looting it for spare parts. Who were those other astroneers who clearly died here? The game does not really say. Like most sandbox adventure games, Astroneer's world is one without meaning. Of course, so many games, particularly RPGs, are built on the skeleton of acquisitiveness. Kill 10 rats to upgrade your leather jerkin, and basic short sword. Use your silver short sword to kill 10 dire rats, etc. But there is, at least, a gloss of narrative overlaying in all that tells you why you are killing 10 rats. You have to make up your own story, and I certainly tried for several hours, but it's challenging when there's so little help from the world itself. There are suggestions of a story, chiefly in the form of titanic alien gates that loom large over the landscape. But it do be a stretch to say there's even a vague narrative at work here. In time you are just confronted with the fact that you are on that resource-gain treadmill, and nothing more. All that really waits over the next horizon is marble. But if you can fall into a deep hole, tell yourself a good enough story about your Astroneer and what they are doing, then the sky's the limit. Catherine Cross is a Ph.D. student at the University of Washington who researches anti-social behavior online, and a gaming critic whose work has appeared in numerous publications. Sony's 2018 PlayStation VR Gamast, a robot rescue mission is one of the best VR platformers made to date. And at the 2019 Game Developers Conference next month, some of its lead developers will show you exactly how they pulled it off. Notably, there will be a special DD 2019 design track talk call about the making of Astrobot Rescue Mission, reinventing platformers for VR. Presented by creative director Nicholas Doucette, this session will delve into the origins of this PlayStation VR game, how the team tested and prototyped new ideas, and the ups and downs that went into reinventing one of the world's oldest game genres in VR. Also, programmer Yuki Miyamai will be presenting a programming track on taming technologies behind Astrobot Rescue Mission that's designed to give you a primer on the technical challenges that come with designing a smooth, expensive platformer for VR. Miyamai will give you specific examples of rendering optimizations and visual effect implementations that the team spent substantial time fine-tuning, such as water and clouds. Expect to walk away with a BETTOUNDERSTANDING of technical challenges and solutions relating to VR that can be applied to your own projects. Further details on both these talks and many more are available now on THEGDC 2019 session scheduler. There you can begin to lay out your GD 2019 which takes place March 18th through the 22 at the newly renovated Moscow Center in San Francisco. Bring your team to GD. Register a group of 10 or more and save 10% on conference passes. Learn more. For more details on GDC 2019, visit the show's official website, or subscribe to regular updates via Facebook, Twitter, or Gamasutra and GD are sibling organizations under parent company Informa. Most games will not ever be reprinted, and with major ROM websites phasing down the legal teams of large game companies, game preservationists argue that the current state of commercial video game preservation is abysmal. But there's something you can do, no matter your profession, to make sure video game history is not lost to the sands of time, explains Digital Eclipse's Frank Cifaldi in his talk on game preservation from GD 2019.